Welcome back to Ben's Garage. A little bit different today, we're not outside working, but if you've had this problem, it always happens when it's the coldest. Basically, the other day we went over to Mum and Dad's and Tina turned the heating down. When we came back, she went out there to turn it back up and the boiler wouldn't fire up. Great. So anyway, she was out there, I was looking on the internet. I can get out there, but she would have had to have cleared a load of space in the boiler room. Anyway, I was doing the research on the internet, she was trying to fix it. So Tina on the tools. So today we're talking about oil-fired heating, basically, an oil boiler. Now there's three things on an oil boiler that it needs, and that is air, fuel, and spark. Air is delivered by the motor, there's a fan on the motor. Fuel, obviously from your fuel tank, and spark just to ignite it when it's sent through into the actual burner head part of it. So those are the three things you need. It's pretty much the same as any internal combustion engine really. So the first thing we did, I said to her to check the fuel filter. So she unscrewed the fuel filter, absolutely chock-a-block. Of course, late at night, we've not got any spares, so she washed it out in petrol a couple of times, blew it out with the airline, put all that back together, and it still wouldn't fire up. You press and hold the reset button, it goes through a process, and you can hear lots of things whirring and going on. But if it doesn't actually ignite, then it all shuts down again. So it was doing that over and over and over again. So the next thing because we've had the fuel filter off, perhaps it's got air in the system. Now the pump on our boiler, on the burner head, is a 2-line pump. So it's got an in and a return. Now some pumps have only got one line and it does the return inside the pump. But according to research on the internet, the 2 lines, in and return, are automatic bleeders. But you can take out the bung where it says P, which is normally for you screwing in a pressure gauge to alter the pressure. You can sometimes bleed it out like that, because this particular pump hasn't got a bleed nip on it or anything, because obviously automatic bleeding. Tina was trying that, nothing. So I found online some really bad videos, but they did get to the point eventually. On top of the pump, there's a solenoid, which magnetises basically, and it's on a post. So you undo the nut and you lift the solenoid up. And inside that post, there's like a sliding thing. So when the solenoid magnetises, it lifts up the sliding thing, and I'm assuming lets fuel through. So I said to Tina, what to do is to slacken the nut off on the pipe that comes out and goes to the injector. No fuel coming out. So I thought next thing to check then is the solenoid, which we have here. This is the old solenoid. I say it's the old one because we replaced it. You just undo the nut, obviously switch everything off first, undo the nut. There's like a multi-plug that goes on there, pull that off. And you can test these, which I'll show you in a minute. And they should, if you have your multimeter set to ohms, that should read about 400 ohms. That was reading nothing. It is split and it has deformed. To test this solenoid, you got, I don't know if you can see that. In there you've got 3 pins. The top pin is ground, earth, whatever you want to call it. So you want to test the resistors between the bottom 2. So get your multimeter, set it onto ohms, and switch the power on, obviously. Now I've got all tangled up here. So put one on one side. If I touch them together, we get that sort of noise now, and a reading. So if I touch these on there, oh, I've touched them together, hang on. You can see the meter, absolutely nothing. So that solenoid has basically had it. You can see it's got a split down there, and it's sort of deformed out of shape where it's got quite hot, I suppose. Basically it's a throwaway item, there's no moving parts in it, it just, as it energises, it magnetises inside, and as I said, lifts something up inside the pump. So that's how you test those. I tested the new one, and that was sort of ranging between, you know, around about 400, which is what you want to be seeing. Now, the thing is, in the UK, these are about £15 to £20, and I found them for that price, but the firm wanted £22 to post it, to post that to France. No way, Jose. So, I found one in France on Amazon.fr. It was €31, €5 postage. I ordered it because Tina went up into town to try and buy one. Couldn't find one anywhere, so she came home with a Calagas heater, which did the job. It kept us warm. So I ordered it. It was supposed to arrive on Friday. Luckily, it turned up on Wednesday. I checked the resistance on the new one, and that was all good. Had, you know, 400 ohms, all thereabouts. Tina went out, fitted it, bolted it all back on, connected it up, switched the boiler on, pressed the button, fire it up. It fired up, and it's been running ever since. So that piece there cost us €36. Now, if we'd have called the plumber out, it would have been an emergency call out fee. They're not going to sell that for what they can get it for, so I'd imagine that'd be close to €100 for parts plus their labour. So we'd be looking at a bill for €200 to €300. I'm chuffed actually that Tina can actually do these sort of things, because, you know, some people you'd ask them to do a job and it's like, oh, but I tell her what to do, she goes and does it. And the boiler is up and running. So that's, if you're not getting fuel, check your filter. If your filter's clean and it's got fuel in the bowl, just work your way along. Make sure that there's fuel going into the pump, make sure there's fuel coming out of the pump. If there isn't fuel coming out of the pump, it could quite possibly be the solenoid. So if you test it, pop a new one on, job's a carrot. We have got to service the boiler, which I'm gonna get the parts, which I've got the old nozzle here, so I know what part number it is, so I can order a nozzle, order a fuel filter, we can take it apart, change the bits. I might get a pressure gauge so that we can alter the pressure on the boiler so that's running at optimum pressure. But we're going to do that in the spring when we're not so reliant on the heating, because it is, what's the date today, 23rd of November? We're getting some light frost out there, nothing really serious. By the time I get out of bed in the morning it's gone, but Tina does inform me that the grass is quite crunchy, and we're not really getting into decent temperatures outside. The other day 5 degrees, you know, was out in the car 4 degrees, so it's only just above freezing. So, being as I'm in a wheelchair, I don't feel the cold so much on my bottom half because I can't feel hot and cold on my legs. My top half, I feel it. Although I can't feel the hot and cold, my legs do get cold, and it's not very good for your circulation or that kind of thing. So we do need the heating. So that'll be a job for spring, which I'll bring you along for when we do it, and we'll see how it goes. But for now, the boiler's up and running. Tina's done a cracking job, and that's about it. I don't know if you've noticed Ben's Garage merchandise. If you want to get some Ben's Garage merchandise, there's a link in the description below which will take you to our website, which is bensgarage.org, where you can get stickers, fridge magnets, which we have on the fridge. There's another link which will take you can get hoodies, t-shirts, that kind of thing. If anyone is interested in a Ben's Garage mug, let me know and I'll sort out that for you. Very nice. It makes your cup of tea taste a lot better, I will say that. So I hope you liked this video. Please click the thumbs up if you did. It's a bit different to our normal ones, but I just wanted to show you how to fix the boiler, basically. On the cheap. Don't get calling plumbers out, unless it's something really technical. If I'd have tested that and it was all good, but it was the electrics from the controller, I think we would have called the plumber out, because I'm not getting involved with electrics and all that kind of thing. So there, that's that. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.